Metaverse. And this session is going to blow your mind. We have one of the main men behind Star Atlas. It is a gaming metaverse which has taken over this industry. Everyone's talking about it. We have one of the main men behind that, Michael Wagner, is going to be joined by Jake Browatzke. Jake, of course, is the man behind the series By Night Plays, which has been viewed more than 4 million times. Jake is going to be hosting this panel and taking us through what is happening at Star Atlas, what's happening in this industry, the big news with Facebook yesterday. So, Jake, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. It's over to yourself. And Michael, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.
Awesome. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And it's great to be joined by you as well, Michael, to talk about the metaverse. I think this is such a cool concept, but I think it's more of a concept than an actual real tangible thing to a lot of people. So I know we've talked several times on my YouTube channel, On-Chain Gaming, about the future of play to earn and how the blockchain is transforming all of that. But how about you just give us kind of a groundwork here? Explain to us, what is a metaverse and what is Star Atlas in relation to what a metaverse is?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a constantly evolving topic, I would say. I think we're all still discovering what the metaverse is actually going to become. I'd say in the most simplistic form, it's an alternative digital reality that people have the ability to persist within. So, 3D worlds, virtual worlds, immersive space that people can enter into, they can socialize, they can create experiences, other people can enjoy those experiences. And I think what's going to be very important for the future of the metaverse is the ability to actually, monetize time, kind of create opportunities, be entrepreneurs. That is kind of the economics or the fundamental underpinning of what is going to allow the metaverse to create a new world for people. So in many ways, the metaverse is probably going to be the future of the web, future of internet experience. I think Web 2.0, legacy services, things like shopping online, e-commerce, Amazon.com, as well as, maybe getting into the pivot and the rebranding of Facebook, but the future of kind of social media and social interaction, I believe, will be the metaverse. But trying to keep it high level, yes, it's an alternative digital reality, and people can enter into and live within.
Yeah. So I feel like the concept of a metaverse or another world that we can jump into as people has existed for a long time, even from board games where it's like Dungeons and Dragons to some of the first MMOs. How is Star Atlas and how is NFT technology and blockchain technology bringing the metaverse to a whole new level that we've never seen before? And talk about how the technology is now allowing your dream of Star Atlas to actually become a possibility for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, we're entering into a phase of technology where it can be fully immersive, right? So board games and even video games, what they provide to the player or the user is the ability to entertain themselves, but enter into a state of escapism for a period of time. So getting outside of your everyday life, your normal activities, it allows you to immerse yourself and kind of imagine a different lifestyle per se. So with Star Atlas, we're in a very fortunate spot with respect to the pace of technology, in that we're working with Unreal Engine. And so Unreal Engine is still kind of in a beta phase. It's being rolled out, but what it's going to deliver is this hyper realistic cinematic quality environment, right? So the depth of the immersion is just significantly greater. When you enter into the world, you get to select your avatar, you get to fly around space in Star Atlas. Our game's all about, and our metaverse is all about space exploration and territory control, political domination. But going beyond that, going to the metaverse component, it's people that might just want to create a shop on a central space station. They might want to operate a fueling station across the universe. They might want to create social experiences like musical events, concerts, right? DJ sets, things like this. You might have an art gallery or a museum built inside the metaverse. And these could even be, close replicas to physical buildings and experiences in reality, but replicated inside the metaverse. And now anybody from around the world, regardless of geographic location, has the ability to enter in and get a chance to experience that. And I think that's incredibly powerful. But where it really differentiates is, once again, the degree and depth of that cinematic quality, where you almost lose sense of what's real and what's digital. Right. And so we're kind of entering into this period where those two independent realities are starting to blur the lines and combine into a single experience.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously we know that Star Atlas is a super ambitious project with a great team behind it. But can you share with us some of like the most difficult things so far this year that the Star Atlas team has had to overcome, as building a metaverse from scratch has to be a very, very difficult a task to try and tackle?
Sure. I mean, we're taking on a ton of new technological challenges. So, let's start with the Unreal Engine component. This is the latest release of Unreal Engine. So there's a lot still to discover, a lot still to learn about any changes in that platform and understand how we can build out, the experiences that we're interested in building inside Unreal Engine. We're also building on blockchain, and we're trying to develop, as much of the game logic and metaverse logic as possible directly on chain. This is something that's never been done before. So it's not as simple as taking a previously executed roadmap that somebody's accomplished in the past and then replicating that with a new concept. We have to discover all of the methods and mechanics that are necessary to build on chain. Now, on top of that, we are building on Solana. Solana has had an enormous year, a very successful year. It's seen a tremendous amount of growth and adoption in projects that are looking to build and innovate on it. But it is also still in an alpha state or a beta state, right? And so, there's a lot of obstacles and challenges to overcome there. And it's a very dynamic environment. It's constantly shifting. I tend to liken it to building on quicksand. We might build in a particular direction based on information that we have available today, and then there's a protocol update or a protocol change. And there's also, features that we're looking for out of the protocol, out of the layer one, that don't exist today, but they are, in the roadmap for Solana or for teams ancillary to Solana as well. And so it's just this constantly shifting environment, a lot of research and development, a lot of discovery of how exactly we can execute this vision. But it's very, very important for us, and we think it's very empowering for the user, that we integrate this decentralized technology that is blockchain for things like NFTs, which deliver to the player true asset ownership, crypto native tokens, decentralized finance primitives that further empower the player. This is what's going to lead to the true economy, the true, non-walled garden, decentralized economy for which players can create value and extract value.
Yeah, it's just so cool. And like, I have created an entire YouTube channel, right, about the future of gaming, because I believe that the blockchain and NFTs are so revolutionary for this entire industry. And one of the most exciting things about it is us players getting real ownership for the very first time. So when I think about the concept of a metaverse, I feel like the Ready Player One Oasis type experience, where you can jump from one game to another and bring maybe one of your NFT weapons that you really like from one game into a different game. And that's what really creates this expansive metaverse. So how does the team at Star Atlas think about the concept of being able to jump from one metaverse to another metaverse and maybe bring your NFT ship possibly into a different metaverse or something like that?
Interoperability between metaverses is, absolutely going to be the future. I state that definitively. We're certainly not there. We're certainly not there with the tech today. Not only from the game engine development. So, interoperability between something like Unity and Unreal Engine, all of that, all of the mechanics to make that possible aren't well known yet. And then the same thing with different layer one protocols. So, bridging assets between Solana and Ethereum and BSC and Terra. These bridges are currently being built. internally, from our standpoint, we also want to ensure that we maintain a pretty high degree of control over what exists inside Star Atlas from a graphical fidelity and asset standpoint. So we are a bit restrictive on which assets are going to be able to flow between the various environments and the various metaverses that exist out there, and also keeping in mind that a product like Sandbox, which is also a metaverse and a fantastic product. It's had a tremendous amount of success, but the graphical content there or standard there is completely different than what we're building in Unreal Engine. So as you can imagine, if you have a weapon inside Star Atlas or a ship inside Star Atlas and you want to bring that into Sandbox or some asset from Sandbox into Star Atlas, there needs to be a complete recreation of that asset. And somebody's going to have to do that work. Now, what I think is really cool going into the future is that work can essentially be outsourced to the global population through things like governance protocols, right? Or through some...
We were just talking about how in the metaverse and with blockchain technology, because people have real ownership through NFTs, you have the optionality to take your NFT out of a game. Does Star Atlas, as the developer of all of the assets, but as the developer that is selling NFTs to players so that they can own them, do you guys have control over which of these NFTs another game developer decides to develop and show up as something in their game?
We do not, and nor would we try to restrict that behavior. In fact, I think ancillary services and ancillary products building around Star Atlas, if they have the interest in utilizing something that we've developed and incorporating that into their game, these are, they are true decentralized assets. They live on chain. We naturally do not have control over what happens with those outside of the Star Atlas metaverse. Now, that is kind of unilateral. We do have control over what enters into the Star Atlas metaverse. So maybe to close that final thought right before we got disconnected there is we're keeping pretty tight control over what exists inside Star Atlas in the short term, because we want to ensure that we deliver the vision that we've released to the public. But at some point in the future, through decentralization and through the DAO structures, so decentralized autonomous organizations, we effectively turn Star Atlas as a metaverse into a public utility that anyone has access to and has the ability to create both within and externally on. And so, at some point in the future when that exists, then it will be based on the kind of the global population or the user base's interest in what happens, what exists, what changes take place, changes to gameplay mechanics, changes to when assets come out, changes to the economics, and changes to governance structures. So those are all things that the community or the world will have the ability to influence in the long term, just not in the short term. Right?
Yeah.
So we want to ensure that we can get the vision out first.
Okay, so talking about this vision and trying to make the Star Atlas vision come alive, which I would describe as probably the most ambitious video game visions, or one of the most ambitious visions for a video game ever in the history of gaming. But because Star Atlas is trying to be so much more than a game, you're trying to build a full metaverse for people to work and play in. Besides the actual gameplay, what is the most important thing to get right with Star Atlas?
Undoubtedly, it is the economy, right? And so we put a tremendous amount of effort into structuring the economy, ensuring that there's balance across the game, but also trying to factor for the decentralized nature of the assets that exist out there. So understanding things like inflation, understanding appropriate rates of income that can be earned by the player, ensuring that we're managing, again, in the short term, the supply of the tokens that get released to the community so that we have sufficient time to continue to develop out, refine the product, attract new users, and then fully enable them to create their own experiences. So without a self-sustaining functional economy, then this would be a product that has a relatively short lifespan, right? We've actually seen this in some DeFi applications where, overinflation and failure to retain users just essentially leads to the collapse of the platform. So our two core mandates is to create a very enjoyable gameplay experience first and foremost. That's kind of our entry point or tip of the spear that will attract the users in the first place. But in order for this to become a product that can effectively evolve and live in perpetuity, then there has to be real functional economy underlying it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So, by the way, anyone watching, if you want to drop any questions, I'll try to ask those in the last 5 minutes here. But given that like Star Atlas is pretty much trying to build a new society, like just another society that exists virtually, how important and how are you guys thinking about the community building aspect of Star Atlas beside the like game development aspect? And by the way, I think you guys are doing a really good job at the community building side as well. But I'm just curious how you guys are thinking about that and strategizing that side of it.
Yeah, I mean, we operate under a principle of universal dream management. So it's one, it's being highly interactive with the user base. Obviously, we need to go out and market and promote ourselves so that we can start to attract new users. But it's also, communicating with the public with a high verbosity, right? So making sure that we're always updating people on current progress, current state of affairs. One of the things that we do to accomplish that is host regular town hall meetings in our Discord channel, and this is kind of a weekly update from the leadership team, as well as a live Q&A session from the community. So it's informing, and it's also taking feedback and then modifying our development roadmap based on the information that we're receiving and the feedback that we're receiving from the community. And then beyond that, it's trying to create great experiences that really excite people and keep them intrigued and interested in the future product that we're building right now.
Yeah, I think you guys do a much better job, honestly, on the communication side and listening to that feedback loop and letting it change kind of some of your objectives. You guys do such a great job on that. Like literally those town halls, there's TikTokers who like cover the town halls every time they happen. So I can just like hop on TikTok and get an overview of the last town hall, and just like there's so many guilds that have already started forming around Star Atlas and so many different communities that are just so hyped for this game. You guys are obviously doing something incredibly well there. So just props on that side. All right. So with just 3 minutes left here in this session, what has been like the most fun thing about building a metaverse from scratch, trying to do something so ambitious that's never been done before? Like, what are the most enjoyable parts of it?
It's almost a catch-22 because being highly innovative is just exciting in its very nature. So every time we have a call internally, we have conversations with our team, we come up with new ideas. That always just excites us. We're super passionate about the concept that we're building out, and it's enjoyable every day. Seeing the progress that we make every time we release a new feature. Those are all very exciting times for us. At the same time, that also is incredibly challenging. And so there's, it's a lot of work, but we take enjoyment in that work. So it's great for us to be able to just immerse ourselves in the imagination and understanding that really anything is possible here going into the future.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so for those who are hearing about Star Atlas, maybe for the first time, that are watching this and are like excited for this project, both tell them where they can connect and learn more about Star Atlas. But also, I'm curious personally, when is that first Unreal Engine 5 experience possibly going to be playable? I mean, maybe you can't give us an exact date, but a general time frame.
Yeah, I mean, we fully expect the first Unreal Engine experience to come out in Q1 next year. So really not too long of a wait from now, and that's going to be something that we call the showroom module. So it's still limited gameplay functionality, but it is the ability for the first time to enter into the fully immersive environment, view ship models, configure your ships, interact with other players, and then send those ships out on missions. So that's coming Q1 of next year. In terms of where to find us, we released a really immersive, innovative website in August of this year, and so that's at staratlas.com. Definitely check that out. It's kind of your first entry point into the metaverse across Star Atlas at the current state. But there's also 2 documents on there I'd recommend reading. Our legacy white paper that we released in January of this year, as well as a game economics and tokenomics document that will speak to the importance of the economy that I was describing earlier. Otherwise, social media, Discord is one of the best places for people to join, form community, ask questions, and even find a guild that they can join and operate with inside Star Atlas in the future. So that's discord.gg/Star Atlas. Otherwise, Twitter and Telegram are both great communities as well.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm so excited for Star Atlas to launch, and honestly, just a lot of these metaverses that are getting built to finally form, because we're so early in this now. Like, I think this is really year zero of blockchain gaming, and the like this is, it's, I don't know, it's just such an exciting time when there's so much that I feel like is on the cusp of changing and revolutionizing on the like side of what a game even is. I think people's definition is really going to change as you can start getting real value for yourself in real life in virtual worlds. Do you have a dream that like someday the metaverse or Star Atlas even in particular might have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people literally earning a living in this virtual world that you're building now?
We're not stopping there, Jake. I mean, we think of really the global population of the planet as being a potential user within Star Atlas, and just thinking about the different categories of experience that people can engage in. You know, there's 2.7 billion gamers out there, and we're creating a gameplay experience for people like that. But there's also people all over the world who find an opportunity inside these digital worlds to earn a higher standard of living, to further empower themselves, and to kind of break free of, you know, the geographic boundaries that they're constricted by simply because of where they were born, right? So people that are looking for opportunities for jobs, the metaverse will lead to the largest labor market the world has ever seen. I don't doubt that, because you essentially have frictionless employment from everyone and anyone all over the world. And then also, you know, going back to formerly Facebook, now Meta, there's a reason they're making that transition. It's the largest social media community in the world at, you know, I think like 3 billion users. Simply entering into the metaverse to interact with another human being in digital space, regardless of geographic location, is going to be another feature that attracts a lot of people, right? So we think about Star Atlas, the metaverse of the future, when the technology gets there, as being a product for everyone all over the world.
So yeah, you mentioned that there's 2.4 billion gamers now. What potential do you think this technology has as far as expanding the total number of humans that live on Earth that play games? Like, I feel like the real economic incentive level, like more than 10x's, maybe 100x's the realism level of what a game is. So do you think that might double or triple the total number of gamers worldwide? Like, are we talking about something that could be that, like, I don't know, world changing?
Yeah, completely transformative. And it's, you know, when you change the value proposition from, you know, kind of renting time inside an environment to one where you can actually monetize that time, it becomes a much more compelling reason to enter into digital worlds, right? Like playing video games, we've all heard the criticisms of, you know, you're spending too much time on the computer, right? But what if you're spending time on the computer and you're earning from that experience? So it's actually a job, and there's a lot of discontent out there in labor markets today, and we're, you know, big movements around being undercompensated, underpaid in the face of potentially hyperinflation. We're seeing, you know, the traditional economy through central banking as it's not functioning as I think it was intended. And so we not only have the opportunity to bring people into digital worlds, expose them to things like blockchain and crypto, and then, you know, through that process, create kind of a digital bank for everyone, right? So I do think that it's going to be completely transformative, and it'll be less about playing a video game and more about, you know, this is a new place that we can persist within. Yeah.
Such an exciting space. Hello, James.
Hello, Jake. Sorry, nothing worse than having an absolute brilliant dig-in session and then the MC rocks up.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Honestly, that was so fun talking to you, Michael. Star Atlas blows my mind every time I hear about it. And like, I have literally read through the white paper multiple times. Like, this is not new information for me, but still just listening to you explain what you guys are building, it just re-energizes me. I'm like, man, I am creating content in the right space right now. You guys are building something in the right space right now. This is just such a cool time to watch the future start unfolding.
And big kudos to you, Jake. You've been following this sector for a long time now. So you identified it early on as well. And, you know, what the metaverse also empowers content creators such as yourself to, you know, to have something to discuss and to bring to the world and bring to new people out there. So great job on identifying that, and it's always great chatting with you.
Yeah. Sweet.
Any final comments, guys, just from both of you? I mean, even yourself, Jake, as Mike said, you really do have a voice in this space. Just final comments. Let's start with yourself, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I just, if you guys are excited about the future of play to earn gaming, and maybe this is like your first taste of it and you want to dive deeper, or maybe you've just been excited about play to earn games and blockchain gaming, but haven't really found any content creators that are also excited about it, definitely check out my YouTube channel, On Chain Gaming, to dive deeper into play to earn games. I have a whole playlist on Star Atlas that you guys can watch that includes some other interviews with Michael. One of them, I believe, is over an hour long, so you can dive even deeper into what Star Atlas is. So that's all I have to say. Make sure you guys keep on learning about the space. Don't sleep on it, because it's going to change the world.
Michael, what about yourself? How do you top that, man?
I don't think it's possible to top that. Great job, Jake. Again, really great chatting with you. I will just maybe reveal one really exciting piece of information. It's that the first gameplay experiences in Star Atlas through a web version of this, an in-browser minigame, should be coming out in November. We're projecting November 18th. So if you just discovered us, you found us at the perfect time, because you'll be able to soon enter into the metaverse through this web application. So we hope to see you there, and we hope to see you join our community.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, this is it, guys. This is truly Web3. This is the future of the internet as we know it. So to Jake and Michael, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a privilege to have you on a South African platform, on a South African stage like this. And we just hope we can have you again soon. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.